Monster Tech is doing a giveaway on my channel. Stick around for details on how to enter. Xenothreat is far and away my favorite event in Star Citizen. When it works. That's the problem. It doesn't work very often. Now, I'm not talking about the various bugs that can stop it from working. Those exist and they're annoying, but there's something more fundamental with Xenothreat that can stop it before it even gets going. And it might seem a little funny to put this video out so soon after making my shorter video earlier this week, but that 2-minute 30-second video showing a successful run doesn't happen all that often. And in this video, I want to talk about the issues and how they can be fixed to make a better Xenothreat. And let me just start by saying that this video is heavily inspired by one made very recently by Dead Leader. I'm going to try to present my own perspective on the matter without overlapping too much on what he has already said. With that, I've placed a link to his video down below, and I encourage you to check it out. Let's start by quickly outlining how a successful Xenothreat event works. There are two aspects, space combat and cargo. The combat side boils down to taking out Xenothreat targets in two locations, the wreck site and the Javelin and dry dock. Your job is either to protect the Javelin or the cargo ships. There is an Idris that will attack the Javelin periodically through the first phase, but the real trick is to take out the smaller ships. The Idris will run as soon as it has no backup. Once the second phase starts, everybody is now doing space combat. You follow the Javelin into battle and take out several larger Xenothreat targets and their accompanying fighter wings, and mission success once all the larger Xenothreat targets are eliminated. While the space combat thing is going on, you also have cargo. That team is boarding destroyed starfarers to gain access to the cargo hold, to then transfer different cargo types onto a viable ship for transport. They then fly at sublight speed to the Jericho to drop it off. The cargo mission is what really determines how long Xenothreat will take. The space combat team is waiting for the Jericho to be resupplied, and nothing happens until it is done. And call me crazy, but I actually don't mind doing the cargo side of the mission. I do find it enjoyable. The problem is, you cannot do it alone. And this brings me to the first downfall of Xenothreat, and that is the ineffectiveness of solo players. And Star Citizen is a game that is better in groups. I get that. The problem here is that a solo player does not have a realistic chance of making an impact on the cargo side. Without people to play with, they're not incentivized to even try. I've seen this myself recently. Seeing that the cargo side was dragging on, I pulled out my Carrack and tried to recruit people on the server to help me crew it. I got one guy. We get to the first wreck, and while I'm inside trying to clear the wreck, the Carrack gets blown up because we only had one turret active. With no ship, I'm now totally useless and, even worse, stranded. Ideally, you have all your turrets manned so that the cargo ship is safe, and then you have more players clearing the wreck of NPCs and moving the cargo. So cargo actually requires a lot of people to be successful. As a solo player then, it makes more sense to do space combat because at least then I can take ships out. This means you often get a lot of players doing combat, and very few players actually doing cargo. Now, if the efficacy of a solo player is in question, what if the whole group's efficacy is also in doubt? I'd say this is true because so far as I can tell, there is only one ending to Xenothreat. It doesn't matter how long it takes to get there, the mission only ends when Xenothreat is defeated. So underneath the guise of cooperation and fighting as a team is a mission that is in many ways still on rails with only one end condition. I suppose the Javelin could be destroyed and that would also end the mission, but it doesn't happen often. And even while it is in dry dock, a handful of fighters is plenty to keep it protected from Xenothreat. So it may take a really long time, but the mission is going to end the same almost every time. The Javelin gets restocked, you help it fight, you win. This really means that the pressure is low and there is realistically no way to lose. With those two major points made, I want to illustrate how I'd fix the event to make it work better, as well as future-proof it for future iterations. Dead Leader did this himself, and this is actually where I draw my biggest criticism with his video. Because while I agree with the notion that the event does need to evolve in some way, I think his evolution of it becomes much too complicated for average players to get their heads around and be able to do together. And we've seen the level of cooperation you can get on a server in Star Citizen. I don't think that his version of the event is realistic enough given what we've seen players do so far. So, with that said, what's my take on Xenothreat 3.0?
While on a routine patrol, the USS Jericho was investigating rumors of an outbreak of violence at the edge of the Stanton system. Upon arriving, the Jericho was ambushed by the notorious xenophobic group known as Xenothreat. Having commandeered an Idris, the ambush took the Jericho completely by surprise, and it was forced to retreat. The Jericho made it to MIC L1, where there is a UEE dry dock. Badly damaged, the Jericho is in desperate need of repairs and rearmament if it is going to have any chance of taking Xenothreat on again. The UEE has put out a call to all civilians to enlist in the Civilian Defense Force. It is up to us to rearm the Jericho and establish a blockade to prevent Xenothreat from penetrating further into Stanton space. Any capable fighter is called to MIC L1B to defend against Xenothreat. Meanwhile, anyone capable of carrying cargo is encouraged to help in the process of rearmament. Of particular need are medical supplies, food, and hull plating materials such as aluminum, titanium, diamond, and steel. Couriers and transporters can find these materials at the various outposts in the Stanton system. For a limited time, the UEE is subsidizing the cost of these materials and will pay a bonus for successful delivery. It is strongly advised to travel with defense in mind, as some lesser Xenothreats are making it past the blockade and are trying to attack the Jericho while still in dry dock. It is very likely that they will be trying to eliminate any transporters trying to aid with repair and rearmament. Once the Jericho is repaired and rearmed, we will be able to turn the tide on Xenothreat and push it out of the system.
With this new format, there are a few key changes to the event that make it work a bit better. First, since only fighters are needed at MIC L1B, there is no need to spawn wreck sites, cargo, or to have additional players there not doing space combat. Less entities in an area means that there is less stress on the servers at large. I know that that is counterproductive to the current goal of stress testing the servers, but to make a better Xenothreat for the future, this is some changes I'd like to see going on. Second, since the cargo aspect is now no longer taking place in the violent hotbed where Xenothreat would constantly be shooting them down, the skill ceiling is brought down significantly such that more players will be capable of doing their part even if they are solo. Since their activity is now spread across the system, they can get the cargo from anywhere they want and make a profit of about 3 times the usual rate due to the UEE subsidies. This spreads out server load and means that cargo traders are much more likely to want to jump in for the reward. The danger isn't totally gone, however. You will still do better if you have a turret manned or have an escort, but fancy flying can also be enough to get into a hangar safely. Furthermore, we know that repair is coming to the game, so players with the right tools and ships will have a natural extension to the mission once those mechanics are in game. They can help by repairing the Jericho directly using the materials collected by the cargo carriers. This will boost the repair rate significantly over the automated dry dock procedures and means that the Jericho will be back in the fight faster. But we also need loss conditions. If the event takes too long, for instance, Xenothreat pushes past the blockade and dispatches the Jericho for good with the Idris. Gamify it a little bit so that the Javelin literally gets one-tapped as a consequence of having its shields down and missing so much of its hull plating. This means that the event is now ended and the stress to the server is also gone with it, but means that there is a consequence to failing the mission. Another loss condition would obviously be if the Javelin is eliminated in combat, but we can also give Xenothreat an objective of eliminating the blockade. If no players are present in the blockade area for 2 to 5 minutes, then Xenothreat wins and they take out the Javelin by the same means. Or the same applies if a Xenothreat target is not eliminated in the same span of time. And as consequences of failing the mission, let's make it so that bounty missions across the system now fly with Xenothreat ship skins. And Ninetales is temporarily replaced by Xenothreat, Bunkers that would typically be friendly are no longer friendly, having been taken over by Xenothreat. All this at least until the mission spawns again. And to add more urgency so that players feel pressure to do well and quickly, place a time limit on how long the UEE subsidies last. Make it so that if the mission is completed in less than the par time, then everyone gets a corresponding bonus for efficiency. This would give players a drive to be more effective and hopefully mean that more people will be active participants for the heightened reward. Additionally, if the mission is successful, the subsidies get extended, but not the higher sale prices. Any combat mission gets a temporary 30% boost in payout, and any mineable materials get a boost to their value as well. These changes mean that a win or a loss has more meaning to players. Regardless of their chosen field, they'll want the mission to succeed so that they can reap the rewards of winning. But to qualify for these perks, they will need proof of participation in the event. Otherwise, they don't benefit. This prevents players from rapidly hopping trying to get into blessed economy servers. And overall, I think these changes would streamline the event, make solo play a bit more viable, and the cargo more impactful, as well as provide rewards and punishment for different end conditions. Additionally, it will spread entities out more to improve performance and has some natural extensions into future planned gameplay. But I'd like to hear your thoughts. Did I miss anything? Let me know down below. With all of that said, Monster Tech is still doing a giveaway on my channel for a set of chair or desk mounts. If you want a chance to win, all you have to do is like and subscribe and comment down below using the secret word. Any video during the giveaway period is another chance to win. And today's secret word is ask me a question about the chair that Monster Tech has provided. I did get a discount on the chair, but I did pay for it largely out of pocket. And I want to do a follow-up video in the near future talking about what makes this chair so special. So if there's something that you want to know about my experience in the past few months with this chair, leave that down below. I'll know you were paying attention and you'll be entered for a chance to win. Once the channel reaches 1,000 subscribers, a winner will be selected at random based on those comments. Other than that, like I said, like, share, comment, subscribe, do all the YouTube things. Let me know what you think. And until next time, this is Oddjob Entertainment, signing off.